And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we want to welcome you all to another live Hello Pivot today on our wonderful Thursday with the Hello LLC. And if you guys do not know who the Hello LLC is, Hello stands for Helping Entrepreneurs Leverage Leading Edge Optimizations. And more importantly, it's about helping everyone live life optimally. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we have an amazing conversation with an individual that I'm not going to have the pleasure to introduce, but we're going to allow AI to introduce her. And more importantly, this is where we share with you guys all to be able to adapt, be able to change, and really get out of your own way and see how technology can pivot us into the future. Let's go.
Welcome to Unlock the Power from Within. Astonishing Pearls for Mental and Emotional Wellness. As the founder of Astonishing Pearls, I am delighted to have you embark on this journey of self-discovery and well-being with us. At Astonishing Pearls, we deeply understand the challenges posed by chronic fatigue, mental, and emotional exhaustion. It is our mission to provide you with guidance and unwavering support on your path to understanding and addressing these issues. We firmly believe in a holistic approach to well-being and self-care. Our programs are carefully crafted to nourish your mind, body, and spirit. Through our comprehensive support system, we assist you in finding that vital balance necessary for a thriving life. Nutrition is at the core of maintaining overall well-being. Our dedicated experts are here to offer you the nutritional support required to ensure your body and mind are fueled optimally. Education empowers. Astonishing Pearls is committed to educating you on the significance of healing and self-care. Our workshops and resources provide the knowledge you need to take control of your well-being. You don't have to navigate these challenges in isolation. Astonishing Pearls is more than just a support system, it's a close-knit community of individuals who truly understand what you're going through. Together, we heal and grow.
Yeah. Well, there was our amazing AI video that was introducing Miss Coach Cathy T today with Astonishing Pearls. Hi, Miss Cathy. How are you?
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for joining in, Tyra and David. Thank you for having me as your guest.
Absolutely. We are so excited to have you, Miss Cathy. And today, would you share just a little bit more about who Miss Cathy T is that the AI video did not capture?
Okay, I like to first say that I am not a licensed professional. I'm a health coach, and I don't have the authority to diagnose anyone. But my Astonishing Pearls, the name came about with me acknowledging all the things that my mom taught me growing up as a little girl. And I am Cathy T, your mental, emotional health and wellness coach. And my ultimate goal for the community is just to raise the awareness on the importance of healing. Not just the importance of talking to someone, but the goal is to heal from traumatic events, things that take place in your life, in the workplace, in your personal life, goals to allow you to see how a holistic wellness is very important because what you eat makes a big difference. And I learned a lot. I really learned a lot. And even in my 30s, when I thought I was doing everything that I could possibly do to take care of myself, I really wasn't. So every day is a learning experience, even up to now. So I am a mother of 5. I have grown children with children. So I have 7 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren. Great-great-grandchildren. Well, great-grandchildren. Excuse me, I'm stumbling a little bit. But here I am, and I just like to present what I've learned when Dave and Tyra gives me the opportunity to, and just thank you for being here.
Absolutely, Miss Cathy. Absolutely. We appreciate you being here. First and foremost, we appreciate the journey you have been on life in order to give you the ability to be here with us today. And so, I want to dive in just a little bit more and kind of share with our audience about why did Coach Cathy Cathy T become a coach? Why was that, something that you evolved into becoming? What was the history behind that?
Okay, there were so many painful experiences that I would bottle up inside. And I found later on in life that bottling up things inside only caused a bigger problem. Many, many years ago, I just want to say maybe 2012, there was this tugging in my spirit that um, I had to help someone, and it just kept coming to mind that it had to be women. And I didn't know how I was going to go about doing it. I didn't know what I was going to do. Um, to say the least, I didn't know what my purpose was. And that made me shame. And I started to just, oh, forget about it. Nobody's going to listen to me. They're already not listening to me. So if you talk to yourself long enough, you can talk yourself out of some things. So then I began to have to fight in a toxic workplace and being a single mother. And then just sometimes people are just not so nice for whatever reason. Sometimes they don't even need a reason. So I began to fight just to take care of my daughter and I, and it was a really huge struggle because I would become ill and I had to go to work when I was ill. I had to go to work when I was exhausted, and it just was not a really good look. Later on, as I experienced more toxic environments, um, I began to dig a little bit deeper and say, maybe I pray about this and God will give me an answer. And then it came about that not maybe, God will give you an answer, but it's just in His time, not ours. So, long story short, I kept pushing and I kept pushing. And I don't know if Dave, you want me to actually go into the chronic fatigue right now, or you want me to wait a little bit?
No, this is about you. You showcase more about what caused you and what lifted you to say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna coach other people and share with other people, why I made this pivot, and now I can share with other people. So we don't have to talk more so about your story because your story is your glory, but it's more so about why did Cathy T say, you know what? I'm planting my flag and I'm gonna help other people do this.
Okay, and how I came about that, because at some point in our lives, we get sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you put your foot down and you say, okay, this is it. Well, the chronic fatigue was it for me. Um, one morning I woke up and I know I felt exhausted. I didn't realize how stressed I was. I opened my eyes and I couldn't move. And I just laid there and I began to cry. So as I went on and I was able to get up, I literally had to fall on the floor and crawl to the bathroom just to get a shower. And at this point, I felt like I was paralyzed. I felt like I had no control over my life. So now I have to take a different approach. So a couple of days went by and I had to call out from work. And I was already working in a toxic environment. And this is when I go back to speaking about sometimes people are just not nice and for no reason at all. So I was under an attack where um, my mom taught me to treat people the way I want to be treated. And that's not just something that I speak about, that's something that I live. And I'm going to demand that you respect me because I'm going to respect you. And I'm going to demand that you treat me the way I want to be treated because I'm going to treat you that same way. I'm not going to do anything to you that I wouldn't want done to me. And so here I am right now that I feel like I have a purpose to reach women who feel like they can't voice what they feel. Um, People don't want to hear you. I want to be that person that comes and you can talk to me where I create a warm environment, judgment free. Whatever you go through, it's not for me to judge, it's for me to listen. And that's what I needed, and I didn't get it. And so for 3 years, I was challenged with this fatigue, and it was devastating. So if I can help another person who's experiencing fatigue and don't know it, or some who know that they experience fatigue, I want to be able to help them before it becomes chronic. And that's my goal.
I love it. I love it. I love it. With that being said, I know you have, you've been able to really transition and help so many people with this because you know it personally. And we always share with people, help somebody else, get what you want. And not only are you helping other people get what you've already went through, but you know the struggle, you know the patterns, and you know exactly where they're at. And there's nobody else better than to help you go through that than somebody that's on the other side of the path. And so, with you having, our biz in a box that Tara will bring up here in a little bit, I want you to really, talk about your strength because that's something huge that when we talk to you and starting your business and showcasing your business, you wanted that to be front and center in your business of showcasing the strength. And if you guys have not went to astonishingpearls.io. I don't know what you're doing. This is by far one of my favorites out of all of them, right? I love them all, but this just has a special place because Cathy has a special place in my heart, especially with her being one of our pivot members. And, her and I having conversations along with Tara, with her, life and her, struggles that she's going through, and vice versa, we're able to help out each other. And so you guys definitely have to go check this out where on her business box as he has her QR code. You can go check out her Facebook, her Instagram, and then she has it to where she showcases everything on here, right? So as Tara scrolls down, you'll see that she has an amazing poem on here. She also Cathy, I want to turn it over to you. That we just watched her AI video as well, and then if we scroll down a little bit more, you'll see a little bio about what she does and how she's able to do it. You guys can also see in our business box. Boom, you can book an appointment with her right there, front and center. But Miss Cathy, if you could please, share more with us about the strength that you have, on your business box.
The strength came about one day when I was just doodling. My mom always taught us to be strong, and there were so many different things that she taught us growing up. When it was just the three of us, it was the three older children. My mother always said giving up was not an option. And you may have to cry sometime, or you may have to cry all the time, like I did. I cried a lot. So I was doodling one day and I sat and I just wrote the word strength down. And I don't know how I came up with it, but spiritual truth releases emotional nonsense going through healing. And this was one of the affirmations that I talk about sometimes that gave me the strength to keep pressing, because I remember times when I would fall on the floor and I would pray and I would tell God that this is too hard. I can't do this anymore. And so the way I saw it in my mind, I visualized that God heard me. But when I said I can't do it anymore, it was almost like he had a syringe with medication, and the medication name was strength. And he gave me an injection and said, "Get up, my child, you can do this." And so each time that I felt that my energy was even depleted even more, just praying and seeing that and visualizing that gave me the strength to get up and go another day, and then another week, and then another week. And so every time that I was experiencing that I can't, I had to take that word can't out of my vocabulary, because spiritual truth actually releases emotional nonsense going through healing. And it was a lot of emotional things that I went through that I know if I didn't have a spiritual side, that I just wouldn't have made it. So
Yeah. Well, I absolutely love this little pearl and little nugget. And as Miss Giggles pointed out the other day, pearls are created because of what you do go through, right? What they go through, the friction that they go through. And so this is absolutely beautiful. I know when we were talking and we started our journey together, your we were talking about pearls and the importance of pearls, and why you have chosen Astonishing Pearls for your business. And so I want you to share a little bit more about, some of the things that we have here on your business in a box. We just went over the amazing pearl here that of a strength, but I want you to talk a little bit more about like your podcast and your apparel line and your coaching that you do, and all of these things and the value that you're creating within the community.
Yeah, and there's actually one more up at the top where you see the woman. Go a little bit more, Tyra. I'd like to speak about that. Yeah,
This one?
this one right here. And if you can see that it says she remembered who she was and the game changed. And that resonated with me so much because I had to fight to take care of myself and my daughter. And I often would say, why do I have to fight so hard? I'm getting up in the morning, I'm going to work in this toxic work environment. I'm doing the same thing as everybody else is doing. I'm showing up, I'm on time, I'm creating a warm atmosphere for my patients. And it's like they just didn't care. So no matter how well I did, it goes back to that, just some people are not so nice. So once I began to remember who I was and didn't focus so much on what others were doing to me, I remembered that my mother taught me morals. She taught me to treat people the way I want to be treated. And as a young girl, I used to get upset because I was too young to appreciate it, but it was things that my mother was instilling in me that she knew I would need later. And I guess God allowed her to see the tools that she needed to use to instill in us. And her and my grandma used to walk around the house and they would always say, treat people the way you want to be treated. And I used to get upset. Oh my God, why do they say this all the time? And as I got older, I began to realize, because I began to experience life.
Yeah.
And these things that she taught, that she would walk around the house saying, she was instilling them in me. And that those things were the fight that I needed to survive. And even when I was ill and I could barely make it to work, um, those things that my mom taught me would give me that motivation or that push that I needed. And it's just amazing how when you're a little girl and your parents could teach you something that would have such an impact on your life as you grow up. And it's she would keep us in church, and church wasn't missing church wasn't an option. So train up a child in the way they should go, and when they're old, they will not depart from it. In the book of Proverbs. So the spiritual truth that I speak about, that's the word of God. And I don't want to appear that I'm trying to implement someone to change their spiritual beliefs or whatever that. And I'm gonna apologize if I offend anybody, but I'm not going to apologize for being in touch with my spirit, my spirituality, because this is what saved me. And I mean, it literally saved my life.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as we go through your business box, you'll see that on our business box, we just had a How to Tuesdays of how you can add your podcast. And this is something that when you came to us, Miss Kathy, this was not an idea or a thought in your head, and we was like, hey, you should create a podcast to have this
Right,
an outlet for people to come and learn more about you and what how you can help them out. And this is a great way, and then even more so being able to add this, your YouTube, and then you also were able to join us on our wellness platform as well that allows you to
right,
be able to help people with their wellness, more importantly, even yours. And then, where we were able to add on, the actual chronic fatigue, where now you can give away a guide where you guys all, if you're dealing with, fatigue and they're like, I'm not sure, go get that free guide. You can also, have a private one-on-one with Miss Cathy, right? That you can click on right there, get in her calendar. And then more importantly, you also can go and get, some additional support from her, and then go and get her actual, guide that you can purchase that might have a little bit more. And then one of the things that we share with people is, why not have an apparel line? Right? You should be able to add on an apparel line to your business. And that's something that we're able to do on her Biz in a Box. And literally, as we share with people, this is a one app, one tap, platform for your business and for what you're doing. And know that, you don't have to be struggling to tell people to go here or go there or do this or do that. And so, with the Embrace Your Astonishing Pearls, right, and astonishing your power, should I say, Ms. Kathy, what was, now that you've had your Biz in a Box for well over now 6 months now, what would you have to share with the people, about your Biz in a Box, knowing what it's been able to do for you now?
Actually, I like to say, as I was missing something in the beginning when I was just speaking, the podcast that you talk about, the podcast for me was another form of strength, because when my Biz in the Box actually came about, as you and Tyra know, I was still challenged with the fatigue. It had gotten better. It had been 3 years, but it was getting better. And then I'm getting excited now, and I'm saying, okay, it's gone, because I woke up like 3 days and I had strength and I didn't have to struggle to put my clothes on to get a shower. But then, to my surprise, the next week it was back again. So when I was able to create a podcast, it didn't require me going out. It didn't require me doing much. If I didn't have energy to do one particular thing that I needed to do at that moment, it was fine, because I was able to pick up my phone and I could share some of my feelings right there in a podcast. And so that resonated with me very well. And then, as time went on and um, the fatigue started subsiding a little bit more, I was able to also add something else that I know that gives me strength. And gospel music is healing. It really is. And it has helped me through a lot of hard times. So I dedicated a song to us as women. And if you look at my Biz in the Box, it's Queenology. And I dedicated this song because we are queens. And the world doesn't always treat us as such. But if you listen to this song and the fact that a gentleman sings it, it allows you to see that there still are even gentlemen that treat you nice, because there's so many people that don't. But to recognize that a gentleman actually acknowledges that we're queens and acknowledges that we should be treated as such, it made a huge difference for me. And that's with my song. And then my vitamin shop, of course. The fatigue was so challenging. I knew I had to get vitamins. I knew I had to build my immune system back up. I was already into holistic teas and essential oils and things like that. And it makes a huge difference. Now, are you going to drink a cup of tea and all of a sudden you're going to be doing cartwheels? No. But if you're consistent with taking care of yourself, if you're consistent on focusing on a natural approach, you will get there. Stay the course. Don't give up. And one of the affirmations that I always kept up front was that this thing that I was going through, whatever purpose God had for this to take place in my life, I always said to myself, this is temporary discomfort. Prepare me for my long-term healing. And here I am. So I'm excited to be able to say that you can call me, you can talk to me. I'm going to create a warm environment because I've been through this already. And this is something that I needed that I didn't have. I'm not going to judge you for whatever you talk about. I can't judge anyone, but I was judged a lot. And so these things that I didn't like while going through them, I'm not going to present them to anyone else, because I know what I needed. So I know others need to hear that It's okay not to be okay,
Yeah.
but just keep showing up. Keep showing up and focus on healing, not just, oh, I'm going to get better. Healing is what needs to take place.
Yeah. I wanted to, when you said that, Miss Kathy, I know that we wanted to talk about, some of these things. And so I wanted to bring this up because it was one of the images that you had shared. And when you said, just keep going, that's literally what this image here is. Is just, I love this little orange. It's so cute with his little button but there. But yeah, it's just that sometimes you just have to pick yourself up and carry on. What would you like to add to that, Miss Kathy?
Yeah, this was another one of the what I would say was affirmation for me, because times when I would be someplace where I couldn't get on my knees and pray, or if I was at work where, it just wasn't ideal and I could sit at my desk, and I had this posted all on my desk. I had several sizes of this picture posted, and I would look up and I would see it. And it was just amazing how it's just the little things that mean so much. And if you could say to yourself, sometimes you have to just pick yourself up and carry on, you would be surprised at the strength that it would give you. So this is what resonated with me with this picture.
Absolutely. Well, I have one more here that I want you to comment on. I have to switch it around here, so give me a second. But one thing that I really appreciate, Miss Kathy, is your vulnerability, in sharing and just, understanding that what you've been through in life has been able to assist you within your journey now to assist others. And so we pull up this next image, and I want you to, speak to us on this one.
And this one resonated with me because, like I said, in the toxic environment, this picture actually illustrates exactly what a boss is and exactly what a leader is. A boss, it has the employee. The boss is taking advantage. But if you have a leader shows you, waters you like a plant, and it
Yeah.
empowers you. So this was another thing that I could look at, and I could be able to focus on what characters I was dealing with in the workplace and who I needed to go to, maybe just to sit down and have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, because presenting people that deposit edifying words into your spirit means a lot. Not someone that's always, oh, well, you didn't do this right, or you didn't do that right. And there was a lot of that in one environment that I worked in, and it literally was making me sick. It literally was making me sick, and I didn't know it. I'm thinking I'm thinking I'm just fighting to take care of my family, but this is also wearing me down. And what do you do? Because you have to go to work. What do you do other than keep pushing or keep believing or as I could say, I keep reaching back to the things that my mother taught me. So these things that's going on, I could reach in my pocket and I could pull up the morals my mother taught me, the things that she said. Treat people the way you want to be treated, and that's the key for me, and that's what gave me strength every day. That's what gave me the ability to fight. I used to be ashamed to cry, but when I would get home, I would sometimes get a pillow. I didn't want my daughter to know everything that I was going through and, stress her out. So I would go into my bedroom, I would pick up a pillow and I scream and I would cry. And I started crying more, and the more I cried, the more energy I got, and the more stress that was released. So I often tell people that I talk to, crying is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of being strong too long. And I cried a lot. So I like to think of it as, I often tell people, like, we have household plants, right? So what does our plants need to grow? They need water to grow. So our tears are the water that we need to grow. And believe you me, I think I might have cried a river. And I still do sometimes. And it's okay, because it's okay. Like I said, it's okay. If I'm not okay today, that's okay. Because tomorrow I could prepare to focus on what made me not okay yesterday and do better for tomorrow. And this is just where I am, and I'm just so excited to be able to share with women, like, you're not alone. You don't have to hide. You don't have to suffer in silence. You have to choose the right people, of course, but there are people that have gone through the same thing that you've gone through, and you will get through it. Tyra, I lost your volume. I can't.
It's because
You're
I'm
on
on.
mute, love.
Okay.
So I absolutely love that because Miss Kathy, at the end of the day, when you shared that image about, the employee and how an employer, or employee is with a boss and a leader, it reminds me of the same one of the chariot. And, there's a guy in the chariot with a bunch of people pulling the chariot, and he's whipping them, and that's the boss. And then on the other side is the chariot, but the chariot's empty. There's people in front of it, and the leader is out in the very, very front of all of the people in front of the chariot, guiding the people. And so that was something very, I've talked to at length through our community about the effects of toxic environments within, whether you are an entrepreneur or you are, an employee, does not matter. Any one of those E's, if you are a part of a toxic environment, how much that can affect you. And I say that because I too, was in the petri dish of a toxic workplace environment. And just to see how much, when I left that environment, to realize how like stressed out my body was, that, for like 2 months after that, I would take naps like daily, and I would sleep for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. And David's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just tired." And I didn't realize that I had compounded all of that toxicity, and, to trudge through as we do, within the world of the workplace. Right. And so I brought up this next image because you had sent us a couple of the AI designs that you've been playing with. And this starts to lead us into the conversation of where we are going. As many of you might know, Hello LLC, we are all about helping everyone live life optimally. That's what Hello stands for. But more importantly, it's about helping entrepreneurs leverage leading edge optimizations. What does that mean? We basically help people understand the power of technology and leveraging that. And that's how we've helped Miss Cathy with her business in a box and some other things, her new VR storefront that we're going to take a sneak peek at here in a couple of minutes. But you out creating AI is exactly where we are going within the world. We're able to utilize these tools at our fingertips to make the fact that we can work smarter, not harder. And so as we transition kind of talking about the future, I'm excited to see what you're going to be able to do with the futuristic tools that you have at your fingertips, AI for one of them, your new VR storefront that you're going to be able to, all of us can join right now, whether it's by our phone, by our laptop, or by our headsets, our VR headsets. We get to experience that with the technology we have in our hands. So Miss Cathy, share with us about this AI creation that you have been dabbling with, and how exciting this is, and just share with us, if you will.
It's this picture actually is very exciting for me, and to actually take the initiative to say, okay, we hear this talk about AI, and oh, it's going to be the future. Well, it's not going to be the future because it's actually already here. So I'm thinking I better start dibbling and dabbling now so I can just kind of get a feel of what I have to do. And so in my mind, with that moral that my mother instilled in us, this represents me and my sister and my mom. So my mom would sit down and talk to us, and she would tell us the importance of acting like a lady in the street. Those were her words. If you act like a lady in the street, you'll be treated like a lady in the street, among other things that she used to take time out and sit down and talk to us about. And so with AI, a lot of people probably are figuring, oh, I can't do that because I thought I couldn't. But it's as simple as telling a story, and you're typing in whatever you want your character to look like, whether you want it to have short hair, long hair, glasses, almond eyes, a modern living room setting, whatever story you type in, AI, you just hit a button and it creates it for you. Now, if you get one that it just actually didn't represent what you were saying, you can change some words around. You could say it's a collage, or you could say a 3D image, or whatever you want, but it's just that simple. So this represents my mom and my sister and I. And the rust color I put in, and it was great. So I said, let me send this over so I can. I'm excited. This is just practice, and it's really good, isn't it?
I love it. I even noticed the butterflies in the carpet because we know how you and butterflies.
And the
I,
great
when you sent this over, I said, "Of course it has butterflies."
What you say, David?
and the great thing about this is, I'm in awe with you sharing with people about AI and about to just press the button and to just show up. And I say that because when you first joined our Pivot membership, this would not have been something that you would have taken on by
No.
yourself. And just seeing the progression that you've taken of saying, you know what? And you said it earlier where you would say, I can't. And I remind you guys all that we have to go from that I can't, right, to I don't. Because when you accept that and you're aware of that, you then know that you don't. And then you go from the I know stage to the I do stage. And this is a prime example of you going from the nope, I can't do that to, oh, hold on, let me take my power back. I don't do that. Now I know the benefits of me doing this because now I get to share my story. I get to post this AI. I don't have to worry about doing all this craziness on Canva and putting it together and all this other stuff. Now I can do it just by the speed of thought, which is
Yes.
what we share with people. We're moving to the speed of thought, and now you're able to do it. And so I'm just proud of you for even putting these images together and then sending it over to us and being like, hey, I want to talk about my story to this. And so often we forget that we're visual people, and yet we try to talk our way and try to share things just like we share with people. Hey, look, I can talk about metaverse until I'm blue in the face. But until you actually jump into metaverse and you put on the Oculus glasses and you see how it can benefit your business and not just go in there for games and play and fun, but you literally can see what it's about and you can experience it differently, then you can understand the concept. And it's just like explaining to somebody that's watched a video, right? Or should I say somebody that's listened to the radio in the 1930s and trying to explain to them what a TV is in black and white. You just can't
Right.
picture that. You actually have to see the TV from the radio. And this is the next phase of where we're going from the traditional flat screen to this 3D immersive environment that you now can even create and develop by talking to this AI, by typing to this AI, and even more importantly, you're going to be able to put this picture into AI and then have it write you a story back based off this picture. And so this is where we share with people the future is already here. And this is where you have to be able to adapt because really when we talk about AI, we're augmenting how we're working. We're augmenting how we're thinking, and we're really augmenting our work of what we do. Because at the end of the day, that's what this was about: was creating it easier for us to work. Where now we're all on the same playing field. To where, as I share with you guys, it's copy, paste, drag, drop. That's where we're at right now in building a business, not a side hustle, because we all have a business and we all have the same opportunity as an enterprise. And so I'm so glad you were able to share with us. So share with us more on this picture because I love the butterflies. I love the kids sitting down. Talk to us about this picture.
This picture is absolutely one of my favorite images because it tells the story of exactly how my mom was, or is. I'm saying was when we were younger. So the golden rule: treat people the way you want to be treated. We know they woke my grandma and and my mom walked around the house saying this all the time. But these three little children represent my oldest sister, my older brother, and myself. And what this image represents is that my mom would sit us down. Like, I couldn't go to my mom and say, Janice did such and such and such, and then my mom would go and just discipline her. Or vice versa. Neither one of them could go and say either of us did anything, and my mother would just take the word of one person and just go and discipline the other. So she would sit us down in a circle in the living room, and she gave each one of us a voice. Tell me what happened. Janice, Bernard, tell me what happened. Cathy, what happened? So she would give us all a chance to share with her what really happened in our minds. But being a mother and you know your children, you know who was telling the truth. So the reason why that resonated with me in my adult life is because I've experienced where, once again, people are not so nice sometimes. And in the workplace, if a coworker didn't have a good relationship with you and they would go and tell the boss you did this, and it may not even be true, but because the boss likes this person, they would just take their word for it, and then they would do all kinds of things to you, and so many toxic things would be done to me. And I didn't understand why, because I didn't have an argument with anybody. I didn't disrespect the authority in the company or anything like that. So, and it brought me back to this when my mom said, listen, because this person said this happened doesn't mean it happened. Now, for whatever reason they said it did, that's, I don't know, whatever reasons they had. So in one toxic environment that I had, I used to work with a young lady, and I didn't know that she had issues with me. We never had an argument. We worked well together. And then one day the boss told me, oh, you was working with somebody and they told me you did X, Y, and Z. And I said, no, that never happened. And so they began to just do all kind of things to me, make me late for school. They didn't want to see me advance. When it came time for raises, I would be the only one didn't get one. Well, not the only one, but others that maybe they didn't like as well. And then this young lady came to me one day, once she decided, she said she turned her life over to God. And she said, I owe you an apology. And I said, what? Because she was still talking and laughing and everything with me. She said, we went on event one day, and she said, and I came back and I told the boss that you did something that you didn't do. And she began to cry. And she said, I am so sorry. She said, but just know that this is before I actually got in touch with my spiritual side. And she cried for at least about a good 20 minutes, but I appreciated that she came to me, because I probably would have never known that this was one of the reasons why they treated me bad. So this picture with my mother saying, um, basically that there's three sides to every story, really. Yours, mine, and one of them is the truth. So this brings me back to my mom. I admired the way she brought us up. I admired the way she made the importance of knowing that everybody has a voice and it's important, but you don't see that in the workplace. You just don't.
Yeah,
So,
you nailed it on the head, because it's just we call David and I call it unexpected expectations, because we were raised a certain way. We were raised in an environment where our mother, who was the authoritative, the authority of the dynamics, allowed voices to be heard. And we just don't see that, moving. We don't see that in, families today, very much. We don't see that across the board. We just don't see that in society in general. So it's not a surprise that in the workplace, it's starting to show it and rear its ugly head. And, thank you for sharing your story about that young lady, and the fact that, ultimately she did come back around and be like, hey, because, I know how that feels, in the sense of getting someone to come back around and own their own thing. I had a friend who I'm still friends with today, but she a couple of years ago, and I tell this story all the time. A couple of years ago, she just, on my birthday, she was like, we were really mean to you as a kid, because I've been friends with her since kindergarten. And she says, I'm sorry. And, that felt really nice to hear. But because it'd been so long since it had happened, I had done my healing, and that was just the candle on the cake. That was just
Yeah.
to say the icing because
Icing.
you
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
yeah, I had to make that whole cake whole myself. And then when the sparklers showed up in their apology. So it's nice. It's nice whenever somebody does come back around. And that was very nice of her to own that and whatnot. But, great job, Miss Cathy, on, developing and creating these amazing AI images. I'm proud of you, because you're right. You would not have dove into this, if this was 6 months ago. It would have probably been daunting, and you would have been, no, I'm out, not interested. But because you have a team like ourselves behind you who is encouraging you and showing you how to do these things and telling you, just press the button. Nothing's gonna, you're not gonna blow anything up. Just push the button. And by pushing the button, you have created beautiful things like this that allows you to share your story with an image. And like David shared, that is so impactful because all of us are visual. Not all of us, most of us are visual when it comes down to it. And as you're talking, the audience is just looking at this image and just imagining exactly themselves in those little bodies or in the mama's body, and you sharing that your mom gave three little voices a chance to be heard in a very big world. Do you know how many people you might have impacted today, not only because of the image that you created, the power of doing it, the strength, that little strength thing that you did take the ability to do that or the time to do that, but also the fact that you shared that your mom gave you guys your voice. How many people did you just impact that will watch this, not if not watching now, in the future, where they go, I'm going to set my kids down and we're just going to have a conversation, because that's what this world is about, is communication at the end of the day. And we do not do enough of it between all of us, so that way we can understand each other. We're just busy in our upset, our hurt, or whatever's going on, because when our ox cart's in the ditch, we're not paying attention to anybody else but our, traumas and dramas. And so we're getting ready, Miss Cathy, to the next share I'm going to do is of your virtual storefront in the Hello Plaza metaverse. And so for those that don't know, Miss Cathy has went ahead and gotten her own storefront. It's a virtual storefront. So this is 100% open, 24/7, 365. You can visit this anytime. You can literally go. It's not on her business in a box yet, because we are going to be launching a grand opening here soon. So you guys are all getting a sneak peek of this as well. And with that said, Miss Cathy, before I bring this up, share some of your thoughts and comments about, why you wanted to get your storefront in virtual reality and why you thought that was going to be such an huge impact to your business as we are moving towards the virtual world, as you are playing with AI already. Take it away, Cathy.
Yeah, first of all, I like to say, first and foremost, that I used to be that person that hear the word mental, and I would think, oh, mental disorders and all of this kind of stuff. So the impact that it had on me taking that leap to do something, or even when I needed to talk to someone, was the fact that, oh, I'm not mentally ill, but that's not what that stands for. Mental awareness. Be aware that any type of trauma can cause damage to your body. It can make you ill. It could present chronic fatigue, as it did for me for so many years. That stress was just lingering and it piling up, and I didn't know. So at that point, when I was challenged with the chronic fatigue, I couldn't get up and go anywhere and do anything. I couldn't get up and go to a doctor's appointment. I couldn't do a lot of things. So having a virtual storefront where someone can go on their laptop, their cell phone, or whatever, and you can book an appointment with me right in my store. You can order vitamins that can help you build your strength right in my store. The apparel that I have, I notice that sometimes when I'm down, pretty colors brighten my day or brighten my moment or my hour. So the colors that I have, everyone notices that that I love butterflies. So presenting these colors could actually change a mood. And you don't have to go out the door if you're not able to walk or you're sick or you whatever happens that you can't get up and go. You can pick up your phone, you can go to your laptop, and you can visit a virtual store. And here I am. This is where I am today.
I love
So
it.
I'd like to ask a question,
Go ahead, Mr.
right?
Jones.
I'd like to ask a question. What is the metaverse to you, Miss Kathy? When you hear the word metaverse, what is that to you?
Metaverse is actually a form of healing for me. It's therapeutic because I can go in this store, and not only my store, I'll speak about it later, but seeing that I could actually help someone without them going to an office or taking a trip an hour away or 2 hours away. So I can go right on Metaverse, and here's my store, and I could present what I stand for, what my goals are, raise awareness of healing, and present it all in one place. And Dave always say, one-stop shop. It's all there. You don't have to go here and there and drive to Kalamazoo and all of that stuff is right here. So it's actually therapeutic.
I love it. You're spot on because so often we've been with people that have been extroverts or introverts, and they've been completely opposite, and been able to come into metaverse and been able to get over their depression, been able to make new friends, and been able to hear other people have some of the same similar stories and realize that they're not by themselves in this world, and especially doing it from the own comfort of their own home. And so we are so excited for you guys all to get a little sneak peek of Miss Kathy Thompson's Astonishing Pearls storefront in the Hello Plaza. Like she mentioned, you can join from your actual cell phone right now. Going to the HelloLLC.io and hitting that big button that says Hello Plaza Virtual Mall. And not only that, you can join in from your iPad. You can join in from your laptop. You can join in from your VR headset. And we cannot stress that enough that the metaverse is the third version or the third generation of the internet, where we're going from this flat TV screen right now to a 3D immersive experience. Where even on April 4th, we're having Crystal Bay's book launch. And she's going to be able to showcase her book launch. Just like with Miss Kathy, she's going to be able to have her clients meet her in her private office that's in the back of her actual storefront. And so this is where I shared earlier, to where the old fashioned meet me at the mall, let's have some fun, let's go shopping, you now get to do that exact same experience from the comfort of your home. Girl, let's go shopping, meet me in the mall, right? You ain't got to spend all that money on the food. You can do all the shopping. Somebody gets on your nerves or you got to go to the restroom, you ain't got to worry about coming up with an excuse. You just hit the button and you go take care of your business, right? TMI, but just everybody got, you got that version. So this is where we literally get to experience life in a different way. And this is where we share with people, hey, the future's already here. And you being able to join us, a little bit over a year ago, Miss Kathy, you saw where we were, when we first started to where we are now. It's night and day to how the progression and how the technology has really shifted to where you have Miss Cleo in there, you have Miss Merlin in there, you have Miss Roberta Pacino in there, you got Chef Andy in there, and this is where we share with people our community. You bring your friends, I bring my friends, and we become friends. And this is the ultimate mall where you might go get a CD, but you come out with a shirt, you come out with some shoes, and it was all in one place. Now, just imagine as an entrepreneur, you get to be able to showcase your business, and somebody came in there for a book, but then ends up, going to Miss Kathy's, wellness, and taking part of her wellness program or getting her t-shirt and apparel. And this is where we all win, or going to Chef Andy and getting his pasta sauces. So you left there with everything you needed from the seat of your pants. And this takes Amazon shopping and makes Amazon shopping look old and dringy at this point, especially after seeing this.
Yes, I was going to also mention that as well, David, because you have Cleo's storefront, you have Chef Andy's pasta sauces. I think Nike is joining, or so many people are going this route. And actually, for me, it was a beautiful journey because through the pain and through the hurt and through the trauma and through the tears, and then the telling you and Dave, oh, I'm not showing up because I don't want to show up. I'm not showing up because I have no energy, because it literally felt like my energy fell off a cliff. But I knew that I had to keep pushing, because I knew one day, I didn't know when, but I knew one day my healing was going to take place. And it's still a challenge some days, but that's just like with anything. It's okay not to be okay for one day. And I always say, in my podcast at the end, I like to always implement, never let negativity be your kryptonite, because negative energy, it will make you ill. And as I said, I want to reach someone before, if they're going through fatigue, I want to reach them before it becomes chronic, because I don't want anybody. I can't save anybody, but I put it out there that I like to help. So I can share the causes and the early signs and symptoms, and the eating right and the exercising. And if you can't get off the couch one day, lift your leg up and kick and move your arms and whatever it is you can do, because small steps are still steps nonetheless. So you have to take control. Take your power back. Stand for what you believe in, and just protect your heart, because it's going to be a lot of backlash. It's going to be a lot of people that don't want to hear you telling someone else to do right or help them heal. I have a master herbalist. He's on TikTok and everything. That's another thing. And I was always into teas and stuff like that. So that brings me back to what I'm saying, that people don't want you to tell others how to heal. They'll kick him out of his TikTok, because he's sharing on what you can touch base with to give you the energy and the know-how of, well, I need to go see the doctor about this. I need to go get some blood work done. Your adrenal glands, your thyroid, all of those things plays a part of you healing. And here I am, Dave and Tyra. And God bless you guys, because I know I was that annoying person. I was Miss Aggie, or like my grandkids say, I was on team doing too much and all of that stuff. But
Oh, it's good to have grandkids, isn't it, Kathy?
yeah,
It's
that's
good to
you
be up
extra. You extra
Miss
is
Cat,
not that
it,
serious.
speaking of that,
What you say, David?
speaking of that, if you would, share with the people, if you would, share with the people, how was it dealing with us, as, a client dealing with the Hello LLC, and especially part of our pivot being one of our VIPs, and you went, with the storefront, you got our bids in a box, you literally have everything within our repertoire. What was your experience with us as a client?
Well, the experience with me, the overall icing on the cake, was in the beginning when I wasn't at my best. And it wasn't just like you were trying to promote your business. You wasn't trying to get me to buy this and buy that. And it wasn't about money. It was all about you actually creating a relationship with me. And I started out on a bad foot, and I know I did, but it was devastating for me. So I know I felt like I was imposing on your business, because you had other clients, you had other things to do. But you and Tyra never made me feel like I was imposing. When you say helping other people, that's what you stood for with me. So I was burnt out one day. I was literally burnt out, and I said, "Oh my God, what am I going to do?" Because I have things to do. I'm not showing up, and it's become consistent not showing up. Then I'll pop up. Then I won't show up for another 2 days. Then I'll pop up. And one day, Tyra picked up the phone, and she said to me, she said, "Miss Cathy, you are not the only one." She said, "I have days where I'm XYZ." And I said, "No, not Tyra," because she's always had this energy. And every time I saw her, it was, and you, Dave, as well. But Tyra actually picked up the phone, and it meant a lot. It meant a lot because woman to woman sometimes mean something different than, Dave and I talking. And so that gave me energy even more. And then another day, on a different occasion, when I had a little bit more healing, Dave popped up and he had a conversation with me. So I just want to express to the community, everybody who's watching on Facebook, everyone who will go and do a replay. Um, this was an awesome experience for me because you see so many people think now in today's world that everything is about money, and a lot of companies do present that. But this is not the company that presents that, because they will listen to you and they will talk to you and deposit edifying words into your spirit. And that's a lot. And so you and Tyra are not only my mentors, you present yourself as family. And that means a lot. Means a
Well, now that I'm well, thank you. Again, we build a community not just for us to lead. We build a community so we can all support each other, because we all have our times and our moments. We have our down days or down months. We just have things that show up in life, and it just comes down at the end of the day to being authentic and creating a space so others can be authentic. And I'm as authentic as it comes, because as a little sister in my family, it was easier for me to tell on myself first before anybody else told on me. And so it has caused me to be extremely humble and extremely open and authentic about really what's going on in me. And I learned a long time ago, sharing with other people that you too have experienced something similar, and what you've encountered. For me, when people do that, I have the same reaction like you do, going, no way, you've had to deal with things like this too. And it's because at the end of the day, we isolate ourselves as human and think that we're the only one that goes through it. And so, we appreciate the absolutely amazing, beautiful flowers that you gift us with. Speaking of flowers, I want to gift you with some flowers here, because there's a lot of love here in the comments. And so I want to take a second just to read some of those. We've had some people jump in here and say such warmth and wisdom. So thank you, Cathy. We've had a lot of hearts and a lot of clapping, a lot of, prayer hands and love. Miss Gina says, I'm so proud of my cousin Cathy. She's amazing. And I'm glad that she is able to empower others. As there we go. And then we've had Miss Cathy, you're a beacon of strength. Here we go. It's a Facebook user. So I'm so sorry. I know this is probably Cleo or someone out there. So can't give you love, but your storefront looks amazing, and congratulations. And on then the other side of that, we had Mr. Guilford here that was a part of watching in, and he said, great job. He said, you did a wonderful, wonderful job, and it sends you many blessings for today. And so, Miss Cathy, we couldn't resonate that anymore about who you are as an individual. You have been nothing but authentic in your journey about where you are and what you're dealing with. And you have never tried to ever pull the wool over anybody's eyes, about what you're dealing with. And that authenticity of being raw and real about it really does help other people be able to navigate their own. And so we encourage anybody who is tuning in today or listening to this in the future to please reach out to the amazing Cathy Thompson. But more importantly, go to astonishingpearls.io and you will be absolutely blown away by her business in a box. But that's how you can get in touch with her. That's how you can book and reach out to her and contact her. And if you're looking for more support in the mental, wellness, if you're looking for more support, if you're dealing with toxicity, toxic environments, chronic fatigue, if you are just burnt out and just, you can't go anymore, you can't, pick up that leg, get on the phone with Cathy because she knows it. She knows exactly where you are, and she's going to be able to assist you with just being there with you and helping you get through it. And so thank you so much for your time today, Miss Cathy. Do you have any closing thing that you would like to share with us?
I was actually about to say one more thing. For me, the journey also has been with you and David. When you have that word can't in your life, in your vocabulary, take it out. If you have any thoughts of that you're by yourself and have no support, just take those thoughts away. I was at my worst. I was at one of my worst 3 years of chronic fatigue I experienced. When I got into David and Tyra, they're the people that say, I will do XYZ. And it's not just something they're saying to get your business or to make you think that when they say, I will do X, Y, and Z, they actually do it. They don't say, well, I can do this for you. Oh, well, no, I'm too busy, or none of that. Or the things that we hear when people tell us things and don't show up and don't do what they say. Well, Dave and Tyra are not those two people. So if you have the ability to create your own storefront, or you're an entrepreneur that wants this one-stop shop, if you're tired, if you're exhausted, if you just don't know how to or where to begin, Dave and Tyra are the two people to go to. And I'm just so blessed to have them in my life, not as just my mentors, but as two people that I welcome as two new family members. And I'm so grateful, because if I could wear gratitude like a necklace around my neck, that's what I would do. And as a matter of fact, David Tyra, you know what? I'm going to create that in AI.
There you go.
I am. I'm going to create a necklace.
I love
Yeah. So here I am. I just want to encourage. I just want to encourage everyone that you can do it. I want to speak to the women for a minute, though. I would just like to say, present loyalty, empower each other. We are the ones that wear a heavy load daily. We give birth, we mop the floors, we cook dinner, we do homework, we pace the floor with the kids at night when they're teething. And not to take anything away from the dads, but as women, there's certain things that we can share with one another that will empower us. We could be that shoulder to cry on. We could be that listening ear. Please, let's do that for one another. And I'm done.
I love it. Well, thank you, Miss Cathy, for doing this. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on our Hello Pivot today. And you guys make sure you come and join us every Thursday for our Hello Pivot. And definitely make sure you join us for our weekly events, from starting from our How To Tuesdays, where next week we're going to have an amazing conversation of how to prompt AI and utilize this ChatGPT. On Wednesday for our Wisdom Wednesday. It's at 4:30 Eastern. Tara's once again going to be leading a great conversation. And what's your trigger, right? Part two that we talked about this week. And then, of course, join us next week for our Hello Pivot. We're going to have hopefully Miss Marilyn Holloway with us as well next week on our Hello Pivot, where she too is one of our Biz in the Box clients and one of our Pivot members. And we really want to end our Hello Pivot out to people that want to share their voice, that want to share their story, and more importantly, want to collaborate and build a community where it's more for you than from you. And that's really what you heard Miss Cathy share, is that that's what we do. We want more for you than from you at the end of the day. And we too have went through the journey of transitioning from a corporate position to a side hustle to now a full-fledged business, and we can help you and guide you and to give you new strategies and new tactics that you can implement in your business, because what's happening is we are transitioning, and what we're seeing is that a lot of people are now catching up to some of the old techniques, the old strategies that are no longer valid in today's transition, as we understand the average age of the world is 30 years old. And so this is, the blogs, the newsletters, those are dead and obsolete, right? The emails that we send out to people, those are obsolete. You are your social media, you are your brand, and you have to show up now. And even more importantly, you guys are going to start seeing us show up in metaverse even more, where you're not going to see us, in this camera and dealing with lighting. You're literally going to see us in metaverse and seeing our avatars where we can change clothes. I might put on some hair, right? Tara might be even have some blue hair, right? And so this allows us to experience life in a different way, and that's what we want to bring to you, and what we will bring to you. So with that being said, love,
Kindness,
integrity,
but most importantly,
commitment. And
commitment.
until next time, guys, you know the drill. Toodles.
Toodles!
Bye for now.
Bye for now.